Welcome everyone to Meditation Mount. We're here in the Ojai Valley in Southern California. So welcome to this full moon meditation in the solar sign of Gemini with the full moon in Sagittarius. And let's begin as we normally do by gathering our forces and creating a unified field to receive, register, and radiate the energies available to us. Let's do this by taking a few deep, gentle breaths and bringing ourselves to a point of inner stillness. Ensuring that the physical body is relaxed, our emotions are calm, our mind is clear and serene. And standing in this stillness, we enter the silence of the heart and become aware of the pulsing of our heart. And at the center of our heart, there burns a flame, the fire of love. This is the same fire that burns inside every act of creation, inside every human being. So let us connect together, heart to heart to heart, and see these fiery lines of lighted love connecting us and weaving together a matrix. And then we see our network of lives, this group gathered today, as a point of light within a greater planetary network. And we consciously connect with those other groups and individuals who at this time are gathered to receive, to be influenced by, to be infused by, and then to distribute the blessings that pour through the constellation of Gemini. So we are partaking in a collective act of meditation. Thank you. So we've arrived at the third of the three major festivals of the spiritual year. These three major festivals began in the fire sign of Aries with Easter, with its theme of regeneration and resurrection. It continued in the earth sign of Taurus with the Wesak festival and the blessing of earth, of light by the Buddha. And now culminates in the air sign of Gemini with the festival of goodwill, or the festival of humanity, which is a deep call to service, to bring our love and our light as a force for good in the world. Now, each of these three spiritual festivals carry with them their own extraplanetary, solar and cosmic forces and energies. They are transmitted from the so-called vault of heaven. So what is this vault of heaven? It's said to be the etheric network which provides the medium of transmission for all the energies which play upon and play through our solar system, our planetary spheres, and all forms of life upon those spheres. And this vault of heaven forms one unbroken field of activity in constant motion. It's a golden cosmic web that transmits the energies to be used by all who can recognize, receive, and cooperate with them. So significantly, this particular festival occurs each year at the time of the Gemini Solar Festival. Now, esoterically speaking, Gemini controls the heart of our solar system, and thus this sign rhythmically and ceaselessly pulsates the cosmic energy of love and wisdom into all areas of our planetary life. So we're being flooded by love. And Gemini provides the perpetual flow of essential love. It's a constant, ever-present permeation of all the planes and states of planetary consciousness. It infuses everything. And it's useful to point out that our solar system is also an expression of the second ray of love wisdom. And so this energy reaches us through the sign of Gemini, which, along with the constellations of the Great Bear and the Pleiades, form a cosmic triangle. And this cosmic triangle affects the life and work of all of us, everything within the solar system, particularly on Earth. It affects us as people, and it affects us as nations. So the ruling planets of Gemini, the esoteric ruler, the inner ruler, is Venus. The exoteric, or the outer ruler, is Mercury. And then it said the hierarchical ruler is Earth. Now there's only one ray pouring through the portal of this zodiacal sign, and that's the aforementioned second ray of love wisdom, which is why at this time, the Festival of Goodwill, the Festival of Humanity, love is the key. It's the main energy flowing into our Earth because it is the main energy sustaining all life inside our solar system. So you could say that this Festival of Goodwill is a primary expression of divine love upon Earth. And today's festival can help amplify the frequency of love within the auric field of humanity. It gives us an extra tune-up, an extra pulse. So you could say that love is the synthesizing energy that unites the pairs of opposites within each of us. And when these pairs of opposites are united, they create a point of synthesis, a point of upper convergence. So they are resolved at a higher level. And this sign, which is ruled by the heavenly twins, Castor and Pollux, is a sign of duality, in which the pairs of opposites may be resolved. This twofold nature of Gemini is found in the spiritual motto. So let me state that. I recognize my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. I recognize my other self, and in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. So as we take control of our personality vehicles and bring it into alignment and governance by the light of the soul, we grow and glow. Now, this third of the major festivals also has other names attached to it. It's known as World Invocation Day. And this is the invocation that we'll be using at the end of our meditation. It's also known as the Festival of the Christ. Now, it might be helpful to point out that in the ancient archives, before Christianity came into being, the term Christ or Christic consciousness was a title attributed to the purified or initiated one. In the same way that the title of Buddha was given to Siddhartha Gautama as a title of attainment, indicating his ability to access Buddhic consciousness, so the title of Christ indicates the attainment of a very high degree of initiation, which makes possible a love so inclusive that it encompasses all souls and all life on our planet. And this is why in the Ageless Wisdom teaching, this office of the Christ is often referred to as the world teacher, and why the Christ is also referred to as the teacher of love and unity, because this presence is the pulsating, reverberating, planetary point of love divine, also known as the Lord of love and compassion. So there are many names, but basically it's love incarnate. And the Christ in this context is described as the eldest in a great family of brothers and sisters. also referred to as master of all masters and the teacher alike of angels and of humans. So that's just by way of a double click on that. So at the Festival of Humanity, at this particular Gemini time, the ancient legend tells us that the Christ gives again the last sermon of the Buddha, explaining the cause of suffering and how to overcome it. And thus he links the full enlightenment of the pre-Christian era and the wisdom of the Buddha to the cycle of distribution of the energy of love for which Christ is responsible as this eldest in a great family of sisters and brothers. So in keeping with this ritual, it might be useful as an energetic touch point to listen to a synopsis of the Buddha's last sermon. Not the whole thing, that would take too long. But here is a synopsis of the Buddha's last sermon. These are his last words. Herein, O Ananda, let a brother, as he dwells in the body, so regard the body that he, being strenuous, thoughtful, and mindful, may, whilst in the world, overcome the grief which arises from the body's cravings. While subject to sensations, let him continue so to regard the sensations that he, being strenuous, thoughtful, and mindful, may, whilst in the world, overcome the grief which arises from the sensations. And so also, when he thinks, or reasons, or feels, let him so regard his thought that, being strenuous, thoughtful, and mindful, he may, whilst in the world, overcome the grief which arises from the craving due to ideas, or to reasoning, or to feeling. Those who, either now or after I am dead, shall be a lamp unto themselves, relying upon themselves only, and not relying upon any external help, but holding fast to the truth as their lamp, and seeking their salvation in the truth alone, shall not look for assistance to anyone besides themselves. It is they, Ananda, among my bhikshus, who shall reach the very topmost height. But they must be anxious to learn. My age is now full ripe. My life draws to its close. I leave you. I depart, relying on myself alone. Be earnest then, O brethren, holy, full of thought. Be steadfast in resolve. Keep watch over your own hearts. Who wearies not, but holds fast to his truth and law, shall cross this sea of life, shall make an end of grief. When the light of gnosis has dispelled the darkness of ignorance, when all existence has been seen as without substance, peace ensues when life draws to an end, which seems to cure a long sickness at last. Everything, whether stationary or movable, is bound to perish in the end. Be ye therefore mindful and vigilant. The time for my entry into nirvana has now arrived. These are my last words. So that synopsis of the Buddha's sermon is used to remind us of how to liberate ourselves from suffering. Because once we are liberated from suffering and can begin to feel the joy of life, then the love of life can enter us. So the Buddha and the Christ are far more than religious personages. We hold them to be great exemplars. They're the way showers for our own evolutionary journey, because they achieved that to which we also aspire. And they reached a degree of mastery as embodiments of light and love, respectively. And that's the journey we're on. We've got a lot more steps to take, a lot more miles to go, but it's the same journey. So you could say that the Buddha and the Christ at this festival are like the two pillars of Gemini, because Gemini is the cosmic gateway for the forces of Sirius, to permeate its lower self, which is our solar system, infusing it with energies of the greater cosmic plan and purpose. And we know, we've mentioned this before, Sirius is said to be the portal through which cosmic love flows into our solar system. And there is a very special relationship between the overlighting being of Sirius and the overlighting being of the Earth. It's one of the mysteries. So the importance of this festival has added significance today because of the present state of our world. When you look around, what we see, persistent global crises. We see growing civil unrest. We see darkening clouds of war intensifying each day. And we are witnessing an alarming and looming environmental breakdown. So everything there is telling us it's a time of darkness. And yet this is a time of bringing in the light of the Buddha and the love of the Christ into our lives. So as we gather with other like-hearted groups and individuals around the world to engage in this collective meditation, we're really here to mobilize the forces of goodness, of goodwill, the forces of regeneration, because our task is to anchor the light of a new day in the hearts and minds of our sisters and brothers. And I believe we realize that we stand at a momentous choice point, either remaining stuck in the prison of separation and hatred, or we can choose to liberate ourselves and we can move forward to something new that is founded on higher values and soul qualities. So we mentioned that this is also called World Invocation Day. And the version of the Great Invocation that Diana will be using in the meditation in a moment refers to the coming one. May the coming one return to earth. So let me just wrap this introduction up by saying a few words about the doctrine of avatars. This goes back to Vedic text. So we can draw from the Bhagavad Gita. So in this book, Krishna, who represents the soul or the Christ within, the Christ presence, declares, whenever there is a withering of the law and an uprising of lawlessness on all sides, then I manifest myself for the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of such as do evil. For the firm establishing of the law, I come to birth, age after age. It's the return of the avatar, the reappearance, the anticipated coming one. And this coming one is known by different names around the world, depending on which tradition you're from. So in general terms, you could say that the Jewish people, this coming one represents the Messiah. And for some sects of Muslim, it's the Imam Mahdi. And for Christians, it's the return of the Christ. And for Buddhists, it's the coming of the Lord Maitreya. So I'd like to sort of bring this down into more understandable terminologies. If we view the coming one and the accompanying band of helpers as universal first responders who are responding to a desperate and despairing cry from the heart of a divided humanity, just as when we're in trouble, we call 911 and we get the first responders. We have issued a call from the heart of our humanity for help. And ask and you shall receive. Invocation, evocation. So we have called upon these universal first responders. They're not coming to bail us out, but they're coming to, in the words of the ancient text, to show us the light we seek and give us the strong aid of their compassion and wisdom. So I believe that this band of spiritual first responders is also responding to the deep call of the soul of the planet itself, planet Earth, and seeking to help us organize and mobilize as a force for good within humanity. So this festival of goodwill is when our one human family, we can open our heart and we can unleash the power of love into the world as we consciously bring ourselves into alignment with the presence of a greater love. So I invite us to hold this in our heart and our mind as Diana now leads us in the full moon meditation.
Thank you, Michael. That was beautiful. And here we are at this important apex of the year as this Gemini time of the dissemination of these building energies that have been built over these months to now be offered outwardly in the clearest light that we can offer. And so astrologically, we are in very important times. And it's actually a very positive time for intention. I wanted to show one image just so you can. This is the planet Mercury from NASA, and the colors of it, the beauty of it. This is the exoteric ruler of Gemini. And just to kind of let that into your eyes and into your mind, knowing that the esoteric ruler is Venus, which is also similar in these colors. So just letting that in. There is a teaching in the Vedic ways where when you're learning something, to let it come, they literally, the children are taught to open their books and go like this. And what they're being taught is to discern, learn, to intuitively learn, to let the information, the data, the knowledge be incorporated by energy, by light. That's what meditation is, right? So when we go into the meditation, we are consciously connecting to the highest points of love and light and power, and blending with that and allowing a through line all the way from Sirius to our heart, our life, our earth. And so Gemini, if it rules nothing else, it rules communication, right? And so when we meditate, we are listening, we are intuiting, we are taking in the colors of Mercury, we're taking in the waves, the vibrations from on high. And then we are allowing that information to be organized light to light, meaning the light to the light within us, and interconnecting that so that it's like we're plugged in to this data bank, right? This big treasure chest of all that is divine knowledge with divine communication and meditation. So these are the energies right now, and they're very conducive to intentionality. So in a moment, we're going to do a meditation, and we'll have about 10 minutes of silence within it. So you have time, right, to step into those energies, bringing it in, discerning, learning, discerning through thought, not using the thought as the points of data, but in a way, it's like reading between the lines, right? Intuiting, being given much more of that big knowledge that is being offered at the full moon than what we can think of. Because our thinking is limited, right? Because it only knows what it knows. But we can know more than this. So when you're ready to, we're going to get ready for meditation. So get yourself comfortable where you are. And just sense the group that we're meditating with and the greater group that is meditating around the world in these 24 hours. And just for your information, the full moon is exact tomorrow at least in the West Coast, at 6:53 a.m. Thursday morning. So depending on where you are, right? And you can touch that again if you like. You touch that note again. So early in the morning tomorrow, when you awaken, we'll be having a full moon. So you can touch that point again, what we're building now in this meditation. Good. So when you're ready to close your eyes and take a breath together. We call this a super mundane breath, where we breathe together, inhaling and exhaling, aligning ourselves with each other and across the planet and through the ones that are specifically here right now, but knowing that there are all these lights around the world that are meditating now and will be in these hours all around the full moon. And even if someone was meditating in 4 hours from now or 8 hours from now, we're making a link to all those meditations in coming and that have already happened. We are connected to that whole wave of consciousness around the planet. So with your breath, you organize yourself into this time and space, and you feel yourself come clear and present and into the heart center for a moment. Aligning with the heart, take a breath in the heart center, relaxing and organizing the emotions, feeling your physical body relax, tension in the shoulders, tension in the hands, tension in the eyes. Relaxing the physical body. And then, importantly, taking a breath as you relax the mental body, standing now receptive to impression. Taking a breath, inhale, and exhale, relaxing the mental body, opening into this meditation. Feeling the connection with Mother of the world and all beings. And from the heart center, allow a line of light like a silver thread to move up into the head center, the cave, in the center of the head. And take a breath here now. As you take your position in the head center, feel the crown chakra open. And immediately, instantly, feel the presence of the overlighting soul. This begins to condition the field now of your meditation and of your own energy and of our group energy as we harmonize soul to soul, heart to heart, light to light. And then feeling that energy connecting now to the masters and teachers. linking with the station of the Christ at the center. Sensing the symbolic energy. And the center of the heart of the sun that connects all the way to Sirius. And in this place now, we offer our seed thought for the silence, which is by heart, we connect with the divine plan. By heart, we connect with the divine plan. By heart, we connect to the divine plan. Breathing in the clear light of divine inspiration. Breathing clear light. Clarifying the consciousness. By heart, we connect to the divine plan. And knowing this plan by heart, we share this light and love with the world. Knowing this plan by heart, we share this light, this love with the world. And gently allowing these impressions from this meditation, this festival of humanity, this festival of light, letting these impressions form into thoughts, ideas, and things. In light, in love, and power. In line, in harmony with the divine plan. And we'll close with the great invocation. And at this time of Gemini and clear communications, hear the words as the mantra that this is, unlocking love and light in ourselves and the world from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into all human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love, within the heart of God, let love stream forth into all human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out. And may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, to know and love each other by heart. What an amazing invitation. So let's carry that forward, because we're talking about sending out the blessings, because what we do in all our rituals, we receive, we register, and we radiate. So there is a circulation of blessing. What we're circulating today is the power of love, is the light of love. And this Christ consciousness is at all levels of being. There is a cosmic Christ, there's a planetary Christ, there's a human Christ, there's a, if you like, the Christ consciousness is the child born out of the divine marriage of the feminine and the masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine. It happens at all levels. And on earth, this light is called the light of the world. So I invite us now, our group assembled together with this whole network of light, to stand as the light of the world. See ourselves as a united group. We're geographically spread around the world. And from this vantage point, we're going to pour blessings from our group chalice out into the world. Great waves of light and loving kindness will stream from the heart of our group to touch the hearts and minds of all our sisters and brothers in our one human family, with the intent to awaken each person to the truth of their essential divinity and the fact that the fire of love burns within each human heart as a potent force for good. We'll do this in a very simple way. I will be sounding the Tibetan bowl 3 times, and at each sounding, allow this wave of love to move out from our group heart and create a potent field of love, so potent that it allows the presence of a greater love to enter into earth. So let us prepare for this blessing. And if you wish, you may use your hands to bless, because power flows through the palms of our hands. It's one way that we heal and we bless. So let us begin by taking a deep inhale. And as we exhale, we send out this wave of love around the world. And we breathe in again as a group, and we breathe out the power of love. And we complete this blessing with a third and final wave of love that not only touches the hearts of all our sisters and brothers, but touches all beings for whom this planet is their sacred home. So may we know and love each other by heart. Thank you for that, Diana. It really sticks, doesn't it? It's like, I know you by heart. It's a song, actually, I know. I attempted to sing it, but I won't. Thank you. This is an opportunity to bring the much needed love into our lives each day, but also as a group to flood the ethers with love so that it reaches a point of super saturation. And when that happens, it rains love. It's a point of precipitation. So thank you, everyone, for joining us in this worldwide meditation from Meditation Mount. Thank you from Joey, who works behind the scenes to help the broadcast be possible, and from Diana and myself, and from the whole stewardship team here at the Mount, without whom none of this would be possible. And we give thanks for the fact that we are here together, mindful of our opportunity to be a blessing in this world. So greetings and good night from all of us here at Meditation Mount. Namaste.